We are dishing the dirt today with our gardening expert. Brian Jervis is a horticulturist with the OSU Extension office here in Tulsa, and we are talking about soil today. Welcome, great to see you.
Glad to be here.
You know, you start thinking about the time of year, and it's like, is this too early to talk about soils?
You know, soil's kind of underrated. You know, those plants underneath, you know, the roots underneath the ground, they're just as important as the tops. So it's a great time to start thinking about it. Do soil tests. That'll give you a month head lead to try to get ready and have the best production for your soil.
Let's start with this full screen, because I kind of want to just give an overview for our viewers out there. And I think the first thing I learned from you is all soils are not the same. And for those of us who've tried to work in the soil, we find sandy soil in some parts of town, you find clay, rock. I mean, it's just, it can be a real headache.
It can be all over the board. And then you build a house and put all the fill dirt in the lawn, so then you got even a more worse mixture on that. But yeah, I mean, you got good sandy soil, but it doesn't hold a lot of water. And then on the flip coin of that is the clay soil, where it holds too much. So there's got to be a happy median in there. But we do get a lot of calls on, I got bad soil, how can I fix that?
Right.
Organic matter is our #1. That's what we say all the time, whether it's composted leaves, grass clippings, anything like that to get into that soil. What that does, that allows pores, air pores, water pores to get in, to hold that water, to hold that, you know, to get things in there, to hold those nutrients in. So that'll help drain that clay soil a little better.
You also had mentioned you get kind of what you pay for.
Yeah, especially on potting soil.
Right.
There's potting soils all over the board, and you'll see, you know, discounted potting mixes. Then you'll see high dollar bags of potting mix. But you definitely get what you pay for.
And what you're willing to spend.
Yes, and what you're willing, and kind of what you're after. If you're after house plants, they may have a house plant mixture, but just a good all-purpose bag of potting soil is probably going to work pretty good for you. But don't go cheap, and you don't necessarily have to go the very expensive route.
Okay, you brought some items down here. Let's start here in the center.
So yeah, an example in the green bag, just an example of a local brand that she mixes it here in Tulsa and does a really good job. So you can find that. There's a lot of different ones out there. Your box stores will have them, and there's some good ones there too. So that's what that is.
What are you looking for? Like on that one, is there anything like numbers? Or?
So on the potting soil, you're not going to have a nutrient number. You're going to have, I like feeling it, smelling it. I mean, that one's going to be real loose. It's going to be real airy. And then once you put water to it, it'll drain pretty well.
Okay.
So that one's a good one. And then the other bag is fertilizer. Lots of different fertilizers out there. And don't get tied up on the brand name or all that. Generics are just the same. The numbers are on that bag. That's a guarantee what's in that bag. So this one on the screen's a 1313. So each one of their nitrogen is the first number, phosphorus is the second, and potassium is the third. So I like to, you know, do a soil test, and that way we know if we need phosphorus and potassium. Phosphorus and potassium, that last two numbers, they're immobile in the soil. So once they go in there, they don't leave. That first number's nitrogen. That's our main one. That gets our plants to grow well, grow tall, do things like that. And when we're fertilizing, we should be basing our fertilization on that nitrogen.
So somebody's watching at home, they've never had their soil tested. Kind of walk me through that process.
So yeah, we do soil tests here at the Extension office, do quite a few, about 1,500 a year.
Wow.
So that's a great thing. That way, you know, if people are having problems with their soil, pull a sample. So not only one sample, but in that area that you want tested, pull 15 little samples, mix all of those up, and bring us a full pint of soil.
Okay.
Bring it in a bag, any kind of bag. We're going to put it in ours, put a label on it. It takes about 10 days, 2 weeks to get our results back, and it's $10 cash or check there at the office.
That's perfect. And then once you get an explanation of what our soil is, then you can kind of help with a plan?
Yeah, we can hone in on more focusing the right fertilizers. We don't want to put a lot of phosphorus and potassium in our soils because it gets down into the streams, and then it turns our streams green and all the bad stuff. So we want to get the right amount, and we'll put that down on the form.
You brought up here too a couple of the fertilizers.
Yeah, so you know, Miracle-Gro, everybody's heard. That's just a soluble fertilizer. There's lots of different kinds. Again, brand names are, you know, you don't have to worry about. But what those are good for is your pots, your containers where you're putting that potting soil in. Doesn't have a lot of soil to hold those nutrients, so you need to supply that a little more often. You can supply it with a water-soluble fertilizer.
I love it. If you need more information, check out Brian and the folks at the OSU Extension office. You can find them on the web. Great to see you.
Glad to be here.
We'll see you again next month.
Absolutely.
And it's really close to spring.
Not too far off.
Right.